feel like the first minute of every single video I film is just me trying to figure out if I'm in focus or not. There we go. Okay. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today it's a little bit of a rainy day. My hair is kind of just doing what it wants to do. It's raining out today. It was really dreary. I didn't want to go outside like at all, so I'm just in my comfy tri-delt sweatshirt. A tri-delt. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so today's video is a continuation of a video series that a lot of people do, and also I started on my channel last summer. I did freshman year lessons and sophomore year lessons, so what I learned over the course of those 2 years in my college career. So I wanted to continue on that tradition and do a lessons that I learned in my junior year video. I will say that my junior year was more significantly different from my sophomore year than my sophomore year was from my freshman year. I feel like junior year, I mean, also kind of the same thing in high school, is where like you start to get serious, you're applying for internships, like I'm currently at my internship. Check out my moving vlogs if I haven't plugged those enough. Your classes are getting more into your actual major and less gen ed classes and all that sort of thing. So in general, school was a lot more time consuming this year. My junior year was probably the most different and probably honestly the most exciting year that I've had so far at college, and I can't believe that I'm already gonna be a senior. Holy crap, what the heck. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the lessons I learned in my junior year of college. I think in the past when I've done these videos, I've framed each lesson as like a lesson to teach you guys. But this video, when I was just coming up with things in my notebook like that I wanted to talk about, is more like, it's lessons. I think I have like a few lessons on here, but also things I just like realized about myself that I want to touch on for me to look back on in a couple years when I'm no longer in college and have these memories on this channel. So I think the first thing is something that I really wish I had told my freshman year self, and is a very different mindset than what I have basically ever had in high school or since coming to college, and it's that grades don't matter as much as you think they do. And a lot of people will tell you this after college. Like a lot of people's videos who do these sort of things and are like out of college will say like, I wish I would tell my college self that grades aren't everything and spend less time in the library and that sort of thing. But there is the caveat that if you're going to grad school, grades kind of do matter depending on what type of grad school and what grad school you're hoping to get into. This part might not apply to you, but basically you don't have to make straight A's. And there's this like saying that C's get degrees, which at the end of the day is true. Now, I wouldn't recommend getting all C's, but if you're making, you know, if you're used to, which I feel like a lot of people are when they go to college, making straight A's in high school, because high school is like a completely different realm. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. You'll experience it yourself, just prep yourself, but that's more of a freshman year lesson. So basically, my junior year lesson is that it doesn't matter if you make a couple C's. It doesn't matter if you make a couple B's. I think the reason that I kind of like figured this out this year is that this is the first year that I started going to something that my campus does called a career fair, which is basically where a bunch of companies come and they bring representatives and they're hiring usually for internships or jobs, but our school calls it a career fair. And this was the first year that I actually went, and I went both in fall and in spring. And basically what I figured out is that people don't care as long, okay, I feel like there's a lot of like asterisks in this lesson, but the general, I feel like, lesson I learned is that recruiters for companies for both internships and jobs care less about your GPA than they do about who you are as a person. It's more how you can sell yourself, how you can sell the positions you have. It's not necessarily what you got in the class, like what grade you got, but how you can sell the information you learn in that class as knowledge of yourself to the recruiter, or how you can sell your experience in a position of extracurricular activities or something to a recruiter. It's all about how you can sell yourself, and also it's kind of about who you know, but I'm going to touch on that later. So yeah, basically like grades matter because you can't fail. Like I'm absolutely not saying that you can just fail your classes. I'm also not really saying that you should make all C's. You should definitely try not to make all C's, but if you're getting B's, C's, or A, B's, C's, if you're getting a combination of some, I feel like you're going to be fine as long as you can sell yourself well. If you have extracurricular activities, that you can sell yourself there, or that you're actively seeking out networking opportunities, which I will also touch on later in this video. So that is the first general tip, and I've already talked for 10 minutes about this tip only, and I have 7 more, so good luck to future editing Amber trying to cut all this down. Okay, so the next thing that I learned this year is that espresso is life. And what I mean by that is I feel like I have gone through stages in my life with coffee. Like I grew up most of my life, as every other kid does, hating coffee, hating the taste of coffee, thinking it was gross. And then I entered like the Frappuccino realm at Starbucks and thought that was coffee. And then I moved into like the chai latte realm. They basically like lots of milk with barely any coffee. And then I moved into like the iced coffee with flavoring realms. And then this year I moved on to black coffee and espresso shots, and it has made a significant change in my life. Not only do I actually feel awake when I drink it, but you're not getting as much sugar, you're not getting as much fat, and you're not getting as many calories as you would in all the other previous things that I used to be really into with coffee. So what I've discovered this year is I'm a big fan of efficiency. My entire major is about efficiency. Basically, an espresso shot is probably the most efficient form of caffeine to put into your body, because it's not like a 5-hour energy where like a 5-hour energy, yes, is a shot. It's very small, but there's like sugars in it. There's all these weird things that are extremely unnatural, whereas caffeine isn't natural to your body, but it's much better than, you know, like a 5-hour energy shot. I'm a big fan of just getting like 1 shot over ice or 2 shots over ice at Starbucks. That's usually what I do if I have an early morning that I need to wake up, because it's quick to drink, it doesn't have a lot of sugar, it doesn't have calories like I already said, and it really like snaps you awake. So yeah, this year I realized I'm a big fan of black coffee, and I'm also a big fan of espresso. The next thing I learned this year, kind of more about myself, but also as like a tip in general that you guys could use, I really like reading self-help books. So basically, I have never really been into reading like at all my entire life. I've just been more into, I feel like that's why I'm an engineering major, I like numbers, I like calculations, I never liked history, I just don't like reading. But at the beginning of this year, I bought myself a couple self-help books, or just like inspirational books in general, that I had been debating on buying for like months at that point in time. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and do it. And so I bought How to Be a Badass, which is a great book, highly recommend. It's a very like go out and get the world book without being preachy, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a how to get your together in your life and stay motivated and get inspired and find your passion without being preachy and annoying, which I feel like is very hard to find in those types of books. So I really enjoyed it. And then the one that I have yet to read is actually over there on my bookshelf, and it's called Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. And I've heard amazing things about this book. It's had amazing reviews, and that's one of my goals this summer, is to get back into reading and check out that book while I can. But in general, those kind of books are like really good, because it's not like a storyline that you have to like consistently read and remember, or like recall the story that you're reading about. So yeah, that is what I discovered about myself this year, and you guys should definitely check out those books. The fourth lesson thing I realized this year is that budgeting is so important. I've always had summer jobs. I actually mentioned in my 10 Facts About Me video, plug, check up here if you guys want to watch that every summer, basically since I was 17 or 16, most summers since I've been 16, I worked as a lifeguard. That was always a summer job, and this year was the first year that I ever had a job during the year at the same time that I was going to school, which really taught me my time management skills. But I feel like I was pretty good at time management anyway, because I was really into my passion planner and that sort of thing, which I think I might have talked about in one of my videos. Somewhere I've definitely mentioned my passion planner, because I love that thing. And one of my goals for last academic year, my junior year, was to be more financially independent from my mom. Not necessarily because of any animosity, but more so that I just want to start my transition into my adult life. And also taking the financial burden off of my mom is always a plus, because she already does so much for me. This is just the first year that I've had a job during the school year and been making my own income while also going to school, and it has been really rewarding. And I love my job. You guys have seen in my vlogs before, I worked for the Princeton Review back in Gainesville at my school, and I really love it. So one of the lessons I learned this year is really how to budget your money and figuring out the difference between wants and needs. So yeah, budgeting has been a huge thing my junior year of college. I think we're on the fifth thing, maybe. The fifth thing that I learned this year is that I was really like different with my hair this year, which I also mentioned in my 10 Facts About Me video. Plug again, really guys, go watch that. I just have never really done anything with my hair, and so it's always been really long, and this year I think was the year of me like changing my hair and changing my style, I guess. I feel like there might be like even 3 vlogs where I'm like gradually cutting my hair shorter and shorter, and this is my favorite length by far, other than like, I do like my long hair, but as far as short hair, this is my favorite length that it's been. I'm not really a fan of like any shorter than this. I really like it at like collarbone or 1 inch below my shoulders basically. But now I feel like I've been more, not even edgy, but I've just been wearing more black, more grays, more whites, whereas before I was wearing like bright pinks and bright blues and bright greens and everything, and now I'm much more, maybe my style's just maturing, but I'm really more into like, I always say like a New York City vibe. Basically my style, my hair, my preferences have kind of changed over the course of this year. So the lesson here is, if your style is changing, then just then adapt to it. Don't be resistant. At the end of the day, you get to decide your style. So if you feel like you want to change it up, then change it up. And that is a lesson I learned my junior year. Okay, so next I'm gonna talk a little bit about that tip that I mentioned earlier about networking, which in hindsight now, I don't know why I didn't just do it right after the last one, but basically it's that networking is important. It's like very important. And I know people say this all the time. I'm sure you've heard this all the time, but I think I didn't experience firsthand how important it was until I was going to, like I said earlier, the career fair and trying to get these internships or jobs or what have you. But basically I got my current job at the Princeton Review through a connection, so through networking, and then I also had a connection with IBM that I really tried to utilize. From that one contact, I've actually grown my network within IBM, even before the application process, like fourfold. So basically, networking is important, and I'm not gonna sit here in this video and describe methods on how to network or tips to network, because there are already a ton of videos out there about that, and B, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna make a whole video about it. So the general for this video is just that networking is important. If you're looking for a job, if you're looking for an internship, if you're looking for any sort of stuff like that, if you're looking for a post-grad job, networking is important, and I definitely learned that my junior year. Okay, so the next one is a little bit weird, and like, it's just weird. But basically, I learned that moisturizing your skin is super important, and you should do it. If you are lucky enough to be able to go purchase lotion for yourself to put on your skin, you should definitely do it. Because it keeps your skin healthy and it keeps it from aging. I feel like, also I'm starting to feel like my skin and like my face skin, my neck skin, my everywhere skin is like aging, and it's freaking me the freak out because I am only 21 years old, but like I'm starting, I feel like, to get frown lines. Let me make an addendum. Is that the right thing? Let me amend. I take it back. Not moisturizing your skin is important, but taking care of your skin is important. So this year was like the year that I invested in eye cream. It was the year that I invested in actual cleanser for my face. But basically, taking care of your skin is important, and that's not just for girls, for guys too. Then it's definitely important. It will keep your skin wrinkle-free. So that is a lesson I learned my junior year. Okay guys, so the last thing that I'm gonna rant about today is another thing that I just like realized of myself over the course of my junior year. And not that it's not deep. I was gonna say that it's a little more deep than all the others, but it's not deep. It's just like more meaningful. I don't know. Basically, it's that I think I hadn't really like put into my head, I hadn't really realized until this year that like, I'm getting old, people around me are getting old, and like time is moving faster. And it just dawned on me basically that like time moves so fast, so be in the moment. And I'm looking back over the last 3 years and just thinking about all the relationships that I've been able to build, and the relationships that have broken, and the accomplishments I've made, and the failures I've made. And I don't think at any point in time was I really enough in the moment to take in the good and take in the bad, like learn from the bad. So I guess like the last lesson, if you could even call it that I learned is like, time is moving, y'all. It's moving relentlessly, and it does not stop. So make sure that you stop and appreciate the people in your life. And I feel like I sound like a 60-year-old telling you this, and the only thing that has happened to me is that I've been through 3 years of college, but it really has given me a lot of just perspective on time. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how to end that one, but yeah. Okay guys, well that is it for my lessons that I learned in my junior year of college. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe get a little something out of this video or just get intrigued about what you're gonna experience in college, because trust me, it is a roller coaster of emotions and school endeavors and all of that good stuff. But I really liked making this video, and as always, remember to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to also hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around. I'd love to have you here. I put out new videos-ish every week, kinda, fingers crossed. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.